solve this moral dilemma. So the Pope, at that point, it was Pope Alexander VI, I think. I think it was Pope Alexander VI. And so he drafts a decree, and they call them papal bulls. And all it is a Pope's decree or order. And in that order, what he allowed them to do as white Europeans, as colonizers, was to colonize. He said it was almost their duty to do so, because these people, these savages, these natives who were indigenous to the land were not Christians. If they were Christians, they couldn't go in there. But if they found them to not be Christians, they not only had a right to go in, they almost had a duty to go in to Christianize them. And they had the indigenous people then, under the church's eyes, in the church's mind, had no title to the land except a right of occupancy. And the one who really owned the land was the colonial power who discovered it. And they had full title rights against the natives and against any other European power that would come in. So first in time, first in right. And they had to plant a flag, and it gave them permission to even enslave, kill, to do whatever, because they looked upon these people as subhuman. And, you know, when you start looking at all the wording of the document and the powers that it implied, it colored the minds, and it still does, of generations. And here's the scary part. The Doctrine of Discovery is still good law. Our Supreme Court made it law in, 1823, Justice Marshall, who was the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. It was a baby Supreme Court back then, very young. He was establishing what powers the court had. And he started interpreting the Constitution, then he started interpreting treaties, and it was all, precedent. That's what case law is about.
John B. McIntosh, correct?
Yes.
Johnson B. McIntosh. Yeah.
Yes, you're right, Kimberly. And in that one case, he found the Doctrine of Discovery and plopped it into federal Indian law, and unknowingly, he plopped it into international law. Because as we were talking about early, Kimberly, maybe you want to go into that, about the other countries with indigenous people that, also use the Doctrine of Discovery, because America did it first. And I'll tell you,
the European nations the absolute right.
Yes.
To the New World lands. But the part that I think that is so interesting, I think that's probably why they refer to us as the savages in the Constitution, is because it was used to dehumanize and exploit and subjugate. And